What's the best asset class to get into? Constantly, many investors think it's multifamily. And in some cases it can be, but it may not be the best for you. And what do I mean by that? Let's break that down a little bit. My opinion, the best asset class to get into comes down to two questions. Number one, what do you have time for? And if you're managing it yourself. And number two, what's your background and experience like? Let's get into that a little bit. So let's say you've got no managerial property management skills whatsoever, right? You're not handy at all. You don't even know how to change a light bulb. Well, if you're buying a property and you've got a property manager handling everything, that's fine. That's one thing. If you're trying to cut costs and you're trying to go a different route, let's say for this example, you're actually doing the repairs yourself. You're the guy that's more involved, right? Maybe not major stuff, but just more the day-to-day stuff. So in that sense, well, if you have experience in apartments and you've lived in apartments and that sort of thing, you kind of get the basic concept, that could be a very good fit. If your background is more, you do repair work for a lot of commercial properties, maybe you're a janitor in some sense, maybe you're a commercial construction, maybe you do that sort of thing, you might have a little more experience with something else, something you're more suited to. Also your time, your time during the day. If you're managing it yourself, you have to imagine there's going to be a lot more that can go wrong with a 100 unit or a 50 unit, 30 whatever unit apartment building than a single tenant warehouse, right? Or a 6 unit maybe retail space or an office. So it's really what are you going to be more comfortable with? So that's kind of the first thing, right? What's your experience, your time, and where do you fit in? Now, if you're just an investor and you're maybe pulling some money together with a couple of friends, whatever the case is, this kind of doesn't apply for you in that sense. In my experience, apartments are very management intensive. I talk about this all the time. People don't realize how much time they take, whereas retail, a little bit different. Industrial, if you do an absolute lease in industrial, I don't even know if you ever even need to go see it, right? You very rarely. It would be one of those things where I don't even know why they would call you unless they'd say, hey, our lease is over after 15 years, we're ready to sell. An office, a little more management heavy. Retail, really, most of the time they're responsible for all their own stuff. Unless there's a major issue with the roof or the parking lot or something out of the ordinary. So it really depends on what you're targeting, right? Now, look at it this way. Don't always look at the return. And this is a mistake many investors, new and novice, if you're seeing a 7% return, right, a 7 cap, and you're looking at the property and it's great, your time is worth more than that. It really is. So I make this example all the time. I'd rather take a 5% and never have to deal with the property than a 10% and I'm there every day. That kind of defeats the purpose of investing. Well, I might as well just get a job at that point. So really look at how bad is this thing? I mean, if it's built in 2016, can't imagine there's going to be a whole lot wrong with it. But at the other sense, if it's 30, 40 Class C, 30, 40 years old, it's, you might have some challenges. Even if you have a property management company, remember, repairs are repairs. Property managers don't just do this stuff for free. They got to find someone, and what they do is they always mark up their thing by 10% or something. So your property management costs can go up. And I don't want to make property managers seem like a bad idea. They all do this. This is across the board. This is how they make their money. If there's a lot of repairs, they constantly have to get crews out there. Well, they have to be compensated for their time. Now, if you have a restaurant and their toilet's clogged up or whatever the case is, most of the time they're not going to call the landlord and say, hey, we have a problem. They're going to take care of it. And that helps, right? It puts you in a little different field. You can have 3, 4 retail buildings. You can't necessarily do the same thing in an apartment complex. So office is a little bit different. Some offices are it depends on how they're run, but office can be a little bit management heavy. But really, it just kind of depends on what your time and what your experience level is. If you know you're comfortable with it and you're ready to take it on, go ahead by all means. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any comments about that or you want more detail on that, definitely let me know. Drop us a line. I'll do exactly what I can to help you.